Israel, October 1973. Enveloped in the blindness of consensus, the generals of Israeli intelligence committed the oldest mistake of humanity. They believed what they wanted to see. They had the data. They saw the Egyptian troops mobilizing. They heard the engines, but in the war room, everyone agreed with a single narrative. They are not going to attack. It would be irrational. On the day of Yom Kippur, the holiest holiday in the Jewish calendar, while the country fell silent in fasting and prayer, the borders exploded with the attacks of the armies of Egypt and Syria. The price of the naive Israeli consensus was charged in blood. In less than 3 weeks, the Yom Kippur War left more than 2,500 soldiers dead and thousands wounded. For a few days, the world watched in shock at what seemed to be the end. A modern and technological state being almost completely wiped off the map because its leaders lost the ability to question each other. From the ash of that trauma, a unit was born different from anything the military world had ever seen, the control unit. Their mission was to institutionalize doubt. The rule was simple but brutal. If 9 people in the room look at the same facts and reach the same conclusion, the 10th man has the moral duty to disagree. He must assume that the other 9 are wrong and find the flaw that everyone, for comfort or arrogance, decided to ignore. Israel's intelligence didn't need to reinvent the wheel. There was something similar in an institution with centuries of experience in dealing with absolute truths: the Vatican. For almost 400 years, the Catholic Church utilized a crucial figure in its processes of canonization. When someone was about to be declared a saint, and the collective euphoria said that that person was perfect, the promoter fidei, the promoter of the faith, entered the scene. But the world knew him by another name, the advocatus diaboli, the devil's advocate. His function wasn't to be heretical or evil. His job was simply to question the sanctity of a candidate for saint. It was to search for the flaw, the contrary argument that no one wanted to hear. The church knew that if the sanctity didn't withstand the attack of the devil's advocate, it wasn't real. It was just good guyism or collective hysteria. Israel took this sacred concept and transformed it into a tactical weapon. They called it ipcha mistabra, an Aramaic expression that means, the contrary is the probable. Thus was born the 10th man rule. If 9 analysts in the room agree on something, the 10th analyst has the duty, not the option, but the duty, to assume that there is something wrong in the scenario. The 10th wolf isn't the party pooper. His function isn't to destroy dreams. It is to test their structure with the sledgehammer of good sense, before reality does. We have arrived at the modern battlefield. Today, the internet is infested with mindset preachers. They sell you the idea that armored discipline, ice baths, and waking up at 5 a.m. are the master key to success. They are wrong. Understand, discipline is just fuel. Mindset is just the engine. Having the best engine and a full tank is useless if your vehicle is pointed at an abyss. Discipline, without the coldness of real analysis, will only make you arrive at disaster faster. The world is full of extremely dedicated people running in the wrong direction, building products that nobody wants, investing in obvious bubbles, maintaining zombie careers out of pure inertia. What's missing isn't more effort, it is the navigation system, it is good sense. The 10th wolf's function is to look at the map when everyone is hypnotized by the speedometer and ask the uncomfortable question, does this direction really make sense, or are we just following the herd to the slaughterhouse? You might think that this is just theory, but don't be fooled. Recent history shows a gigantic cemetery crowded with titans that died suffocated by their own consensus. This story shows that no one is safe. Even for those who dominate the world today, a single wrong bet is enough for the empire to crumble. Look at the example of Kodak, the powerful manufacturer of film, cameras, and lenses of the end of the 20th century. In 1975, it was an engineer from Kodak itself who presented a concept of a digital camera in a time when there were no personal computers, internet, or cell phones. This director took the idea to the company's board. The room's reaction, in unison, was, That's interesting, but our business is film. Film is eternal. The consensus was comfortable, but reality was brutal. They filed for bankruptcy while Instagram was sold for $1 billion. Now look at Nokia. They were the kings of the world, the #1 brand when the subject was mobile phones. When the first iPhone appeared, the analysis of the experts in Nokia's meeting room was clear. People need physical keyboards. For Nokia's analysts, glass screens made cell phones a toy, not a tool for work and productivity. They couldn't have been more wrong. In those rooms at Kodak and Nokia, there were brilliant minds, MBAs, PhDs, decades of experience. But there wasn't a 10th wolf. There wasn't anyone with the institutionalized courage to say, "What if we are completely wrong?" The silence in those meetings wasn't a sign of agreement. It was the sound of an empire signing its own death sentence. But how, after all, can you become the 10th wolf? How do you activate in yourself what we call here the definitive differential? In a world intoxicated by an excess of information and scarcity of clarity, good sense has become the rarest and most valuable commodity on the market. Don't be fooled. Good sense is no longer obvious. If it were obvious, Kodak would still dominate the world, and you wouldn't see so many intelligent people destroying their lives through impulsive decisions. Good sense is the operating system that allows triumph in real life. While the herd operates under the effect of collective enthusiasm or paralyzing fear, the 10th wolf operates under the effect of cold and concrete analysis. Avoiding being just another passenger on the consensus train requires what we call good sense vigilance. This doesn't mean being a rebel without a cause or someone who disagrees just out of ego. The rebel wants attention, the 10th wolf wants the truth. In the end, the 10th wolf is the individual most loyal to the group. Why? Because he has the courage to be the most uncomfortable just to guarantee that everyone survives. The tool for this is simple in concept, but brutal in practice: the deconstruction of certainty. Whenever you are facing a decision where everyone in the room, or all the voices in your head say yes, your duty is to pause. Good sense requires silence so that logic can speak. Sit down, breathe, and spend the time necessary building the strongest, most intelligent, and most powerful argument possible for no. Try to destroy your own idea. If your opposition argument is knocked down by the force of the facts, great. The consensus withstood the test. But if your no survives the attack of your own good sense, congratulations! You just identified the invisible disaster that everyone else, blinded by the mindset of the moment, was ignoring. Having good sense is understanding that speed is irrelevant if the direction is the abyss. It is knowing that success doesn't belong to the one who runs the most, but to the one who sees what everyone else decided to ignore. The 10th wolf isn't just the one who disagrees. He is the one who sees the obvious that was hidden by enthusiasm, by fear, or by any other collective feeling. And today, managing to see this obvious is the biggest competitive advantage that you can have. Don't be fooled. Applying good sense isn't something restricted to meeting rooms. Good sense is knowing how to turn off the automatic mode of doing things all the time. Whether in the supermarket aisle, in your career choice, or even in the palm of your hand. Do you want an example? Modern consensus says that you need to be connected 24 hours a day. You need to consume every piece of news, every trend, and react to every notification to not be left behind. The herd calls this being informed. The 10th wolf calls it noise. Good sense asks a simple question that no one wants to hear. If you spend all your time reacting to what others create, when will you have time to build something of your own? We saw an entire generation exchange depth for speed. People who think they know everything, but can't keep their focus on a single task for more than 10 minutes. The world tries to convince you that multitasking is a skill, when, in truth, it is just good sense being sliced and served to attention algorithms. While everyone runs to be everywhere at the same time, the 10th wolf chooses productive isolation. He understands that, in an era of infinite distractions, The ability to say no to what is irrelevant is the biggest competitive differential that exists. The definitive differential isn't to have more information, it is to have the good sense to know what to ignore. The same happens in investments. When everyone is running to the same cryptocurrency, or for the same deal of the century that the fashionable guru announced, the herd is operating out of greed. The 10th wolf stops and looks at the fundamentals. If what everyone is doing seems too good to be true, good sense says that probably it is. Operating with the definitive differential is understanding that consensus is, many times, just a constructed hallucination. And people without good sense prefer the comfort of being wrong along with everyone else, instead of running the risk of being right alone. The 10th wolf isn't a supreme authority, nor the owner of the truth. He is just the one who refuses to close his eyes while the herd walks, hypnotized, towards the abyss. If everything that you heard up to here made sense, you already perceived that the good sense that they sold you out there is nothing but conformity disguised as prudence. You felt the weight of the truth. This channel isn't for everyone, and I make a point that it isn't. If you seek magical formulas, constant validation, or the cheap optimism of stage gurus, this isn't your place. But if you understood that good sense is your definitive differential and are ready to assume the responsibility of being the vote that saves the group, then you just found your pack. Mark your position. If this message resonated with your logic, leave your like. In the algorithm's code, your like is the sign that good sense still breathes. Subscribe and activate notifications. This is the official invitation for you to become the 10th wolf of your own life, your company, and your family. Comment below, I am the 10th wolf. I want to know who are the first to awaken to this new frequency. From now on, we don't just observe the world, we decipher it for what it really is. Welcome to the pack.